Hello, it's Natasha at Craft Away with me. Thank you for joining me today. Today I will be making two shadow box cards using some newest stamps and dies from the latest Pinkfresh Studio October 2018 release. We'll be using Happy Hugs set, Lush Greenery set, and my favorite things to say set, which is an absolute must-have. It's full of uplifting and inspiring sentiments. So I stamped the images from the image from the Happy Hugs set in VersaFine ink, and I color it with Pinkfresh Studio licorice and candied apple watercolors. It's very basic coloring, nothing fancy. So while you're watching me coloring, I'll tell you a little bit about the cards we're going to make. These cards were inspired by Jennifer Maguire. And well, who doesn't know Jennifer Maguire, right? I encourage you to check her YouTube channel and her blog for an amazing tutorial she has on how to make these shadow box cards. I completely follow her tutorial, and she's so much better at explaining things and explaining all the tips and tricks that you need to know about shadow box cards. So I do encourage you to check her tutorial. So yeah, I'm doing very basic watercoloring, and I like the messy watercolor look this image has. And now we will get down to making the cards. So you need a regular piece of cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11, and you cut it in half. And you score the first piece at 4.25, just you would normally do with your usual cards. And the second piece you score at 1/2 inch, 4.25, and 4.75. This piece will create the inside element which will actually pop up when you open the shadow box card, and which will actually create the shadow box. We need to cut off 1/2 inch from our first piece of cardstock, and we need to cut just a sliver from a 1/2 inch flap on the second piece of cardstock. And then we score this inside box element, and as you see, it actually forms into a box which will pop up when you open the card. So I die cut, so we need to create a window obviously, and I just die cut a square window in our box element, and I stamped the sentiment from Happy Hugs set, which says, "Sending you lots of love and cozy hugs to say that you're always close to my heart," which I think is so cute. And then we need to create a backdrop for our bears. I'm using again Pinkfresh Studio liquid watercolors, Sapphire and Sky Blue, and I'm using a dry brush because it's not a watercolor cardstock, and I like the effect, the texture the dry brush creates. So yeah, so I'm checking that I'm happy with the look. I add some splatters, of course. I add splatters all the time. And our sky is ready. So we need to adhere acetate to our window. I use score tape to do that. And to create snow, I use white Sharpie. You saw me doing this in one of the previous tutorials I made with the gift box. So I really like the look of white Sharpie on acetate for winter scenes and winter cards. So now it's time to assemble the card. So again, I use score tape, and I adhere score tape to a 1/2 inch flap, and also I add score tape to the back of our card, and then you align your inside piece to the score line, and you just close the card. And this is when I realized that I forgot to decorate the front cover. With cards like this, I keep front really simple because the magic happens when you open the card. So I just tone the front side with some tumbled glass distress oxide, and I stamp a sentiment from Home for the Holidays set from Pinkfresh Studio, and I add some snowflakes from the same set also in tumbled glass distress oxide, and well, the front panel is ready. And so we adhere the back side of the card, and that's it. Our card is ready. Oh no, it's not ready yet. We need to adhere our bears, of course. And I also like to add to highlight their noses and their eyes with the black glaze pen. And now our card is ready. Yeah. So now to the second card. I follow exactly the same steps as I did with the first one. I score and I fold and I trim. I cut out a window, a rectangular window from our box piece. And this time I'm cleverer and I remember to decorate the front. Then I hit emboss one of the images from Lush Greenery set, and I partially die cut it. For partial die cutting, you just need to put your upper plate in such a way that it doesn't cover the part of the die which you don't want to cut through the paper. I stamp the sentiment on acetate and stays on white. The sentiment from My Favorite Things to Say set, and it says, "Any day spent with you is my favorite day." So today is my new favorite day, which I absolutely love. I love this sentiment. And make sure you clean your stamp after stays on. There are a lot of stamp cleaners available on the market. And then I have a piece of white cardstock for the inside of the card, and I stamp the second image from Lush Greenery set in craft ink, and I tone this inside piece, the white cardstock piece, with Distress Oxide Salty Ocean, and I use brush for that. I like the softness the brush creates, and also I like the texture. You know, it's almost like a fabric or linen texture maybe. You might see it on close-up photos later. So I keep adding some color to make sure that my sentiment actually is visible. It's probably not that visible on the video, but actually in real life you can easily read it and you can easily see it, and I like the softness, the soft and subtle look it has. So then I adhere our heat embossed element, cut off the excess, adhere the acetate again with the score tape. I decide to add splatters to this panel as well. Well, it seems that I can't do anything without splatters. Yeah, so I add splatters and I finally adhere the card. So just the way I did it with the first one. So I'm doing absolutely the same steps. So here you have it, 2 shadow box cards. They are regular A2 size when they are closed, and they will fit absolutely easily into an envelope. And when the person opens them, this is when magic happens, and I really, really like them. So I hope you got inspired to try this shadow box cards, and so yeah, make sure you subscribe to Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. We share a lot of amazing projects there, and we have a lovely community there. So yes, join us. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope you got inspired. Have a great day and see you again soon. Bye.